What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TWA Motorsports. And today, well, we're working on the world's dirtiest Yukon. Guys, we've had some like snow/ice lately, so I'm getting ready to pull this thing up and clean it off. But before I did that, I wanted to make this video because, guys, ever since we've had this thing, it has had the stock lights. Now, look, you guys know I'm a pretty big fan of LED conversions, right? So I do a lot of those on the channel. And ultimately, guys, it just makes seeing at night a lot better. Now, I did this similar thing on a Yukon a while back. It was a Yukon Denali. Well, the Yukon Denali has a HID headlight from the factory, okay? And I didn't like the look of it, so I upgraded the bright lights on these things are just standard halogen. On the Denali versions, they are HID, and I swapped that to an LED in both, including the fog light. Now, on the SLT, this is not a Denali, and you can generally tell by the grill, unless somebody swapped the grill out, they'd have the like cheese grater grill in them. But these have standard halogens in the headlights. And so what I'm planning on doing today is we're gonna do a complete LED upgrade on the outside of this vehicle. When I say that, I've got all my LasFit bulbs, and I'll list those in the description down below. But we're gonna replace the brights, the dims, the fog lights, I don't remember if I've already done the license plate lights, but if not, we're gonna be doing those. And then we're gonna be doing the reverse lights because they're halogen as well. So like, let me unlock it and you can see what I'm talking about. Those are halogens. Okay, these are halogens still too. So we'll be replacing those as well. So we got quite a bit of bulbs to replace. Let's go up here and look at these front ones. Yeah, those are definitely halogen. See that? And see how it doesn't match the outer ring? That makes me nuts. So in the end of this video, guys, I'm hoping to show you this thing all cleaned up and a little bit darker, maybe like close to dusk, so you can kind of see an upgrade. But in here, maybe I'll do one side and we'll turn it on and see what happens. Let's pop the hood of this thing and get started. This thing is so dirty, it makes me crazy. Can't keep them all clean, guys. Let's get this hood open and get started. If I remember correctly, there's not a lot of lead on these bulbs on the under the hood, and I'm thinking we have to take the air box out on this side. So what we may do is we may start on this side here. Let me go get a light, but this right here will unscrew. Okay, and then we have access to one of them. That should be okay. That's the dim. Okay, good. It is a halogen bulb. Let me go get a light so you can see a little better. This makes life a little easier so you guys can see. So a couple things here. You can either twist that out, which is way easier, guys, I'm telling you, than trying to get the plug loose. I think I'm gonna try to twist it out and see how much lead pulls back off of it. And then if we have a decent amount of lead, then I will pull the bulb apart from the harness once we get it out. And you can see the bright right below it down there. See that guy? Same kind of screw off piece that that just keeps water out of the housing. Now I was able to get it out by turning it counterclockwise. You can see that it's out now, and I do have enough lead, which is nice. Then you pinch this and the bulb will pull off. Now guys, this is an H11 bulb. So what we're looking for in our LEDs down there is an H11. Relatively easy to get that unplugged. You just pinch this piece on the bottom and it comes unplugged. So here's our new setup, right? And like I said, I'll list this in the description down below, but on the back side of the bulb, you'll see that this one says H11. This one, or the other two, should say 9005. That's your brights, okay? Now notice these are really well contained. There's not a ton of stuff on them. And then when you compare them, where's the other bulb at? When you compare them to the other bulb, they should still fit in the factory housing. They are a little thicker, but not thick enough where we'll have an issue with them fitting in the truck. So what I'm gonna do is let's plug it in, all right? I can do this one-handed maybe. All right, it's plugged in. We're gonna put it back in and then try to spin it. It's kind of a tough fit, guys. Not a lot of room. Okay, I think I got it in there. And then I just have to spin it somehow. That could be fun. It's very, very close to that, to the button on the bottom. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna have to spin that housing a little, aren't we? Well, I wasn't able to get it like 90 degrees like it's supposed to be. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna test it. Does it matter in that style? Because this is like a projector style. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, oh, LEDs aren't meant for projectors. That may be the case, guys, but here's what I will tell you. The projector, the way the headlight's made, it's not like the older school where the it has to point a certain way to reflect. So what's happening is this is a lot thicker than the old one. So this is the old one. See how it has that positive stop right there, straight up and down? These bulbs won't go any further around than what you see right here, which is normally not the way I like to put them in, but it seems to be projecting the same as the other one, and you can see a huge difference between the two sides. So I'm gonna let it ride. Sometimes you can adjust, there's set screws in here that you can adjust, but that actually is to pull this thing apart. So there's not like an adjustment that I can make, I don't believe, to make this thing or to clock this in the housing. So we're gonna see what happens of an evening. If it's pointing real crazy, then what we may do is take it back out. But let's start there and we'll just see what happens. I put the cap back on just now. So now we need to go down to the bottom one, remove the cap on it. See if we can turn that bulb counterclockwise, and it was not in there great. I don't know how much it doesn't have maybe it doesn't have as much lead on it. There we go. Oh yeah, it's got a lot. Gobs, look at that. All right, good job, GM. All right, so these are the 9005s, so we need to just repeat the process on those. Let's get this out. Now make sure that you're getting the 9005 bulb, which I got on there. Got the old one off. This one has a ton of lead on it. As a matter of fact, so much lead that it's kind of a hard thing to get in and out because there's so much wire tied up in there. So we'll get this one put in there. Maybe. There we go. All right. And we'll get the cap screwed back on wherever I set. Oh, I set it down there. And we'll give those a test. Okay, you guys saw the dim, right? Compared to the other side. Definitely halogen. Now, let's flip the brights on and see if they work. Oh, definitely a huge improvement, guys. Look at the difference from side to side. Love it. All right, so I love the fact that the dims stay on even when the brights are on. Just gives you double the amount of light. To get the fog light, I'd really like to do both sides at the same time. So what I'm gonna do is, let's get this thing off the ground, because there's no way I'm gonna be able to roll under there and get to that light. One other thing I completely forgot to tell you guys, it comes with an additional rubber grommets or these seals. I doubled up. I took that one. I didn't feel like this bright bulb down there fit the greatest. So what I did was I took one of these out and I slid it on the back side of this, and then it set in there nice and snug. So you have some room to get a second seal down the bottom. And sometimes that's the reason they send those, is I didn't have any problem with the top. That's a good one. But the bottom felt a little loose to me. So I put a second one in there, and now it's nice and snug. Now, once you get this thing off the ground, you can kind of see the light back there. See it? It's going to be a little bit of a reach. Now you could take the inner fender out if you wanted. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get this light out. Guys, it's kind of a different style plug. I'll try to show you once I get it out. It's a little easier than trying to get the camera up in there. Well, a little bit of bad news. So I got the old bulb out, which is actually just a twist in, similar to the upper lights, right? So we got it unplugged, but look, okay, so this is what came out, and this is how, and I hate these, believe me, this is the one that I got to replace it. Okay, so you see that it's got the holder for the older style, and I remember vividly how much I hate these because they never like snap like they're supposed to. Guys, on my 2017, this is a 2020, on my 2017, this is what it used. And so I'm gonna have to order a new bulb, I guess, because there's just no way I mean, I can't make this work. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I just went ahead and twisted that thing back in because I don't have them. So let's set it back down and we'll move on to the the passenger side. That's going to take us removing a couple more things. Now on this side, things are a little more complicated, right? We're going to have to get the mass airflow sensor unplugged, which is fine. But we're also going to have to do a couple other things. You see there's a piece of wiring, like a wiring tab that holds that in place down there. We need to get that loose, and we need to get the flathead out of this guy because we're going to take this box loose. And then down there we have, those are just Phillips in all four corners, so we'll get those loose as well. And once we get all that undone, we should be able to pull this thing out. Now guys, you shouldn't have to release this 10 millimeter, I think that's a 10, yeah, to get this out of place. What we need is we'll need to pull this little accordion piece back, and we should have the clearance to make this happen once I get that out of the way. So yeah, like I thought, if you push this piece off, then you can pull it out and get it out of the way without having to remove every single thing in the way. Daggone, Dana hit a duck. All right, let's see what we got down here. I don't know if this gives us any more room than what we had, but what I think we can do now is, generally guys, these are just like a push fit connection, right? So the box itself should be pushed in there. And so what we generally can do is just pop it out of place. There shouldn't be any bolts holding it in. There we go. Sometimes it's a little tougher than what you think. And we'll get this out of here now. You're probably thinking, all right, we're there. Well, not quite. We've got this cover here, this protective cover held in like little push clips to get to the actual bulb housings. So what we're gonna use is one of my new tools that I got to get down there and pull this thing loose. At least that's the goal. Got it? And I don't necessarily think we have to get all the way down. We may have to. Yeah, we're gonna get these other, we'll get at least 2 more out. I had, what, 4 total. And then there's a 5th one down here that I tried to get out, but it may go past the front grill. It's apparently really long. But we've got enough room now to do what we need to do, which is we just need to unscrew these guys and then swap our bulbs over just like we did before. So I'm gonna start with this one up top, turning it counterclockwise, just like we did the other. And we got a little less, oh, we got cable there. So we should be able to swap the H11 up top and then the 9005 down below. Now, similar situation here, you notice that that one's not clocked right at the 90-degree mark or straight up and down. But like I said, I don't think it's necessarily gonna matter because of the type of housings these are. Got both those things in, got the caps back on, but before we button this up, I'm not gonna start the truck, but guys, I wanna make sure that they both work so we can get the low beams by hitting the remote. Okay, our low beams are working. And I think we should be able to just turn the lights on and get the high beams again. There we go. I think we should, hopefully it works. It does? All right. That's a bummer about the bottom ones, but maybe in this video towards the end, guys, I'll have them. But for now, we're gonna move. I'm gonna put all that back together. I'm gonna vacuum the junk out of that tray, put that all back together just like it came apart. Do not start this thing because you're gonna get a check engine light because the mass airflow being unplugged and it would run like crap. So just make sure that you're not doing that. And I guess we'll move to, like I said, we'll move to the back next. Now, onto the back. They've kind of changed things a little bit since the older models. So this is all hidden back behind this guy. So what you need is you need a pry tool. And I like using a plastic one on this. The downside, guys, is you have to clear this piece right here, which makes it kind of a pain. You have to clear all the rubber pieces. So if you pop this out, if you get it started, then you can kind of work your way up and get the clips out. See, none of our clips are broken. We're gonna clean that up real good. All right, now we've got a couple Torx. Those look like T15s. We'll get those out and the light should come loose. They are indeed T15s. I thought they were. I had to take, there's a recall. Well, there's not a recall, I guess. There's a class action lawsuit against GM for these taillights. I don't know if you guys have seen these going down the road. They're all burned out. I had that issue, which I made a video on our Denali. And there's a company called Circuit Board Medics that actually fixes them. They open them up and solder them. But what happens is they break in the corners. And when they break, that, you know, there's not a complete circuit, so they quit working. And like I said, GM's kind of got a handful of lawsuits against them over this. I guess it was a common issue. I don't know if they fixed it or changed it in the later models, because the lawsuit only goes from like, I think 2014 to 2017. But you got to be under warranty to get them to replace them. So hopefully we don't have that issue. But let's get, now that we've got that loose, I'm going to see if we can pull the housing out here. And sometimes it's kind of tough because it's like, it's kind of pressed in to the body. There we go. I think we got it. You shouldn't have to take your upper piece out. All right, so now guys, it's as simple as, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, just for simplicity reasons. We're gonna see if we can twist this guy out. Holy cow, it's in there. It's probably all the dirt holding it in. There we go. That is the bulb we're looking to replace. There is a little keeper on the bottom here, however, that holds this wiring harness in. So I'm gonna attempt to use my flat blade screwdriver and knock that off so I can get this out of the way and give it a little bit of a cleanup. Got that thing loose. So the bulbs we're gonna be using are also from LasFit, and I'll list those in the description as well. And guys, I don't know if LasFit makes the correct bulb we need for the front, but like I said, I'm gonna try to order them and go back to the front before I end this video, but if not, holy cow, that's a tight fit. Now, to test these, let's hit the unlock button. Okay, so it's backwards. I didn't think they were polarity sensitive, but oh my gosh. Okay, that definitely is working. So now what we have to do is, well, we don't have to do this, right? This is the Travis OCD method. I'm gonna clean all that junk out from behind that taillight housing. Just makes me feel a lot better. I'm gonna clean the housing off a little bit itself. You gotta be careful though. Don't try not to get anything in the opening for this bulb that we just put in, because then you're gonna have issues where you have dirt in there and that'll annoy me. So let's clean this up and then we'll put it back on. I got it all cleaned up and back together here so you can see how much brighter that is compared to this side. Catch them both in the same frame. So we need to do this one over here. I also, as you can see, kind of clean the bulb up, but we're getting ready to wash this thing anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same process on the other side, guys. There's not a lot to it, and then we'll move on to the license plate lights. Now that we got the tail lights done, we need to get these guys out so we can get our license plate. So what I've done here, guys, is I don't know if you can see this little spot right here, but if you put a flat blade screwdriver up in there and pull kind of over and down, they should pop out. See that? That's how these guys sit in there. Golly, that one looks like I may have screwed it up. But that's how they come out. These should just be standard 194 bulbs. There we go. So what you need to do here is obviously we need to twist these guys out. Yeah, it's a 194. And we will go grab our 194s, and then I'm gonna clean this up a little bit before we go back together, but these are just a push-in connection. Just like all the other lights, these are LasFits as well. Holy cow, that is a tight fit. No, guys, it's quite a bit thicker than the factory bulb. There we go. And we're gonna test it, make sure it works here. Should be able to unlock it. Okay, that one's working. What about this one? Goodness gracious. They just don't want to go in there. They're quite a bit thicker than the factory ones. There, we got it. Now, all I have to do is clean up these housings a little bit, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time on them, but we'll just clean them up while we got them in there. And then we'll put this side in first, the side that we pulled out, and then push it up. This clip will finish that out. Got them both cleaned, put back in. Definitely looks a lot better, guys. So here's the situation. I got some other lights. They're not the same brand, which I'll link these in the description as well. But guys, the other ones, I couldn't get a last fit, at least in a timely manner. So these guys, I'm hoping are gonna work. Trying to get them open here. So see how they turn in to connect like that? I'm hoping I don't have to have it off the ground. I've got it up here in the garage, as you can see, but I want to pop these in really quick, and then we'll pull it out and get an idea of what it looks like. And I'm going to try to take you out a little darker and kind of go around the vehicle. I've actually got it and the truck clean, which never happens at the same time, but we're getting ready to have some snow possibly in the next couple days, so they're going to be filthy again. But let me see if I can get these in real quick. They just turn in, and like I said, I think I can do it from below. I think I got enough room to get my arm up in there and just twist these in, the old ones out. And we got a little bit of an additional lead to make plugging it in a little easier. I am able to reach that like I thought, and check out the difference between, that's the new LED, that's the old one. I wanted to get something that was close to matching, and it looks like it matches really well. It's the same color. It was a 6500, I think, K, I believe. But either way, it matches really, really well. And just like I said, it makes a more modern look on this thing. So I've got it running right now. I'm gonna go ahead and swap the other one out, and then we'll pull it out and look at it when it gets a little darker. Now, I didn't want it to be completely pitch black out here to show you guys these lights, but we're all done. We got the new LEDs in both the dims, the brights, and the fog lights. Guys, you can actually, if you can reach in there and do it blindly, you really don't have to have it off the ground. I thought maybe it was the older school style that snapped in, like their first ones that you guys saw me try to use, but they're not. So that makes it a little easier to install these. Those other ones didn't like to stay in place anyway. So this is actually better in my opinion. And they actually match very well. Like I said, let's flip the brights on, and that should kick the fog lights off. And then I'll have to shut it off to show you the reverse lights. But now with the brights on, it is so much better at night, guys. Got the brights, of course that kicks the fog lights off because they don't run at the same time. It's just such a cleaner look on this thing. Let's shut it off, and we'll go back here and look at the reverse lights. Now, the reverse lights and the license plate lights are definitely a more modern look. It just looks more modern. I'm not really sure. This is a 2020 model. I'm not really sure why they didn't convert to the LED this early on. Of course, my truck has most LEDs in it. It didn't have license plate lights. I did that a while back. That's the only LED it does not have in it, which is kind of weird to me. But here's what I will tell you about the reverse light LEDs. So look, I like the look of it, and it shines a lot more light back. But with the LEDs and the taillights like that, it does do a lot of washing out of the reverse camera. So it's not quite as great as it used to be, in my opinion. So actually, if you guys are worried about that, it may be a good idea to possibly keep the halogens in. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's worth it. I don't necessarily use the backup camera that much because it has park assist. Look, when I get close to something, it starts shaking the seat and vibrating and making noise. So I don't necessarily care that much, but just so you guys know, that could be a concern for you. I'll pop in here because I've got to put it back in the garage anyway and show you kind of what I'm talking about. We'll put it in reverse and see if you guys can see what I'm talking about. See how much more washed out that looks? I mean, you can still tell, believe me, what's there, but you can't, you know, it's not quite as detailed as it was before. Now, I will say that the newer cameras, like in my truck, are quite a bit better, but just so you guys know. So there you have it, guys. It is all finished up. Like I said, it's a huge difference, especially driving at night. We've driven it a couple times at night now with just the low beams and the high beams. I haven't used the fog lights at night, but chances are they're gonna throw a lot more light. I'm not a guy that uses this fog lights a ton anyway, to be real honest with you, but man, this thing looks so much better cleaned up. So does the truck, which just sucks that we're gonna be getting snow in the next, I think we're supposed to get snow tonight or tomorrow, and then we're supposed to get a whole bunch of snow next week. So I don't really know if that's gonna happen or not, but I spend about 2.5 hours just cleaning the outside of these things on both of them, so 5 hours total. And I mean, they've been clean all week, so I guess I can't complain. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please, like always, go down there and smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are not subscribed, of course, go down there, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell notification that notifies you every single time we drop a new video, and stay tuned to see what we work on next.